Welcome to the Working Class Bow Hunter podcast. We're heading now to our buddy Todd Anderson's farm. Mr. Jimmy John is landing in his helicopter with his boys out there, and we're picking him up and coming back to the studio to do a podcast. He's a busy guy, so using the helicopter as a tool to come hang out with us is pretty dang cool of him. And Jimmy, if you're watching back on this, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to record with some idiots from New Windsor, Illinois. Much appreciated. Looking forward to the episode. So thanks for tuning in. Cool, let's get into it. Working Class Bow Hunter podcast. We got Mr. Jimmy John, but we'll get in. That's not really the real name, which is awesome. And then Mark, thanks for coming along.
Yep.
You're the Whitetail farm manager.
Right. Yeah, Jimmy's Farms.
That's a good gig.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really good. Dream job for me.
Is it?
Right.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I want to say thank you guys for being here in person and coming to Little New Windsor, Illinois. And I know you guys are both busy, so taking the time for us is a big deal for us. So we don't take that lightly. We're pumped about it. So thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Oh, sure.
So we have mutual friends, and that helps. So one trustworthy mutual friend.
Yeah. When Waddell says, "Hey Jimmy, you got to go help my boys out," you got to go do it.
Shout out to
Can't say
Waddell.
no.
Shout out to Waddell.
How
He's
about
the
him?
man.
He's incredible. He is just something else. Boy, can he call a turkey. Holy shit.
Yeah, you guys were just turkey hunting like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we were just turkey hunting in Florida. Oscillated, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he talks to him. He gets him so pissed off. I mean, he literally talks to him like he can speak turkey.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable just watching him do his stuff. It's like watching an amazing UFC fighter do their thing. It's like watching Michael Jordan jump up in the air, and as soon as he stops, he goes up another foot. He's that good.
Yeah.
He is that good. And if Nick Munt wasn't so good looking, I'm not sure they'd be a partner. But that's amazing how opposites attract.
They're the best guys in the game, man. I really do believe that.
Yeah, they are.
But hey, something I want to get into first. So, obviously Working Class Bow Hunter, that's how we started. Well, I went full-time. Eric's about there. When I went full-time, everyone said we weren't working class, which is, I find funny. And you relate to this, I think, in a way, but on another level of the spectrum. I want to get into your story because I think people just think like, here you are, you have money to buy hunting ground, but they don't recognize necessarily the hard work you've done in your past, like to where you've got to where you are now.
Yeah.
I want you to break that down a little bit because I think it's an important message for our listeners.
Well, I'm not really sure what the message is, but I'm 60, right? And I'm a young 60, and it took me a long time before I was even able to take the time to, I started Jimmy John's in 83, and I didn't go, I got, my first wife left me, and I got divorced, and I was in a really bad place, and one of the Link boys from Jack Link's Jerky took me on a doll sheep hunt, told me to get a backpack and on a 7 mag and some rain gear and to meet him in Anchorage, and this was like 93. And learn how to shoot the 7 mag. And I said, okay. So I got rain gear and I got a backpack and I got some really bright yellow and blue Gore-Tex rain gear. And I went to, I flew to Anchorage to meet J Link, and I got a note on my door. Bad weather coming in. Left to go to camp. Somebody will get you tomorrow morning. Anyway, and long story short, I got to camp. I was going on a backpack doll sheep hunt. I was $7,000. And this was it was 93. I never hunted in my life. And so
that was your first one ever? Your first hunt?
First hunt.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. I mean, I shot 3 rounds with the 7 mag and I could hit the target and that was it. So anyway, I got there and finally I got out to camp and I'm all excited to get on my horses. They said, well, we're out of horses. So you're going on a backpack hunt. I'm like, really? The fat guy's going on a backpack hunt? That's going to be great.
Yeah.
So anyway, they dropped us off in a Super Cub and we spotted the sheep that night and we went to sleep and woke up the next morning and we got up to that sheep about midnight the next day and it was light 24 hours. I think we killed it about 2 in the morning and then we just had a fly and we slept on the mountain. It rained and we hiked back down the mountain and and that was my first hunt. That was 1993. But that's how I got into hunting. But as far as I was a high school dropout. I mean, I graduated second to last in my high school class, and I can't read. I'm dyslexic, and my dad lent me $25,000 to start a business. And the story is the same story that everybody reads about, and y'all have read about it. But he owned half the business, and I opened up a sandwich with 4 sandwiches on the menu and 25-cent Cokes. And the first year I did $150,000 in sales and made $40,000 profit. And the second year we did $180,000 and made $50,000. And each year I split it with my dad, and then I bought him out in year 3. And then for 10 years I moved to a different city. My second city, I moved to Macomb, Illinois, in McDonough County, and then I moved to Carbondale, Illinois, and the next year, and then I moved to Lafayette, Indiana, and then I moved to East Lansing, Michigan, and Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Bloomington, Illinois, and Carbondale, Illinois, and after 10 years I had 10 stores. And I didn't know how to get any loans, so I saved up my money, and my store, I could build a store back then for about $35,000, and I'd build it myself and buy used equipment, and I would move there and open up another store. And so my father told me to pay for everything COD, which was he gave me a checkbook, and so I paid for everything COD, and I just learned how to manage the bank balance.
Yeah.
Right.
So I became an accountant by default. So I knew how much money I was making because I paid my bills every day, and what I had in the bank was what I had in the bank, and I figured that out. So I did. So anyway, in 10 years, I had 10 stores, and I made $1 million. In '93, I made $1 million, and my accountant said, "Hey, you made $1 million." I said, "I'm a millionaire." He's like, "Yeah, you're a millionaire." I'm like, "Well, fuck, I'm tired." And I still smell like fucking salami and oil and vinegar, and my car stinks like a fucking Jimmy John's sandwich shop, and and so I didn't feel any different as a millionaire. I was a dyslexic, 10-year graduated high school kid with $1 million in the bank.
Yeah.
And then I got married, I got divorced, Jay took me hunting, and then I would save up my money and open a sub shop and then save up a little money to go on a hunt.
Yeah.
There you go.
And and so I was during the 90s, I was saving up money to grow and saving up money to hunt. Save a little grow, save a little to hunt. And then I remember in about 1998, man, I heard about this place. I went to Safari Club convention. I'm like, holy shit, look at all these rich people in tuxedos and all this fancy shit. And so I go to Safari Club and I learned about the White Mountain Apache Indian Reservation. I wanted to shoot a big elk. And it was like $8,000 or $9,000, and you get on the list and then you go there and there's like 70 people there and they did 3 hunts a year. And then I go to the White Mountain. I think I'm going to shoot, a 370 giant bull.
Yeah.
And then once you get there, then I didn't realize, then it's who you know. And then, maybe you can fill up their tank of gas, or if you know what I mean, or maybe do somebody a little favor, and then maybe you might get a better location. And so I went through just all kinds of shit at the White Mountain, but I went to the White Mountain for like 10, 12 years in a row. And that's where I met Jack Brittingham. He's a famous bow hunter.
Yeah.
And I met Don Barry, and I met him at the White Mountain. And oh God, there's a country singer that goes there. When it's not, oh God, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name, buddy. Shit, Dale Earnhardt was hunting there. And
No kidding.
so I mean, for me, it was a lot of dough to save up and go hunt the White Mountain. And so I did a bunch of that. And then, I'd save up my money and go on a hunt, save up my money and go on a hunt, and save up my money and go on a hunt. And then during that time, I saw people that were super successful buying, these tags, right? That you can buy these tags.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the tag is it goes for the enhancement of the wildlife habitat, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I got to the point in my life where I had more money than I needed. And you know what? What in the hell is the point of working 24/7, 365 if you can't spend your goddamn money on a nice truck or a nice tag or a nice bow, or a more comfortable mattress, or maybe a bush light instead of a natty.
That's right. Yeah, upgrades.
There you go. I mean, that's the point.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about the perception, the fun is no different. The fun of going on the hunt is no different, okay? If you got one of these special tags, I mean, I had a Kansas governor tag last year, and I killed a 160, 162 or something like that with my governor tag in Kansas. So it's not always going to be where it all comes together and it all happens, but the fun. First of all, the ability to do that, is terrific. It's like you doing this here full time, and you're not working your 40 hours a week and then coming here doing it. So you're able to do this full time.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the fuck America is, man.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And my father was mixed race. My mother's a Lithuanian immigrant, and I'm a fucking dyslexic from Cary, Illinois. Learned how to hunt from my buddies from northern Wisconsin, make beef jerky.
Yeah.
And they were looking out for their homie and took me hunting, and I fell in love with it. Mm-hmm. So there's no, for me. Well, first of all, I think that there's something that, again, perception of what it's like to be able to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it,
right,
anytime you want to do it. Let me tell you something. It is. People say, "Well, hey, it must be nice." There's an elk hunt. You can go on YouTube and you can YouTube JJ Elk Arizona. And I had the Arizona Governor's elk tag, and I shot a 478-inch gross green elk, and I shot 1,019 yards. And I shot this bull, and I had a Governor's tag 3 years in a row. 2 years I didn't shoot a bull. 2 years I didn't shoot a bull. My guys, we found this bull on Instagram. I had 4 guys on my team. My guys got to this location, and I'm going to pull the story together for you, but my guys got to this bull, let's say on the 10th of August, and I could hunt the 15th of August. Mm-hmm. So they stayed on this bull, and it was down in a bowl, and it was a burn that had grown, and the oaks had grown up, and the bull had water down there, it had tons of acorns down there and food, and it was living down there with 2 other giant bulls. My guys spent 5 days trying to find a place for us to get in. Once you got down in there was no chance that you were getting this bull.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like he had everything right there he needed. He didn't have to go anywhere.
He didn't have to go anywhere, but he also still let his velvet on, right? And as soon as he busted velvet, right, it was over. So the season opened Friday. Thursday, he busted his velvet. So I walked down there with Wimpy. It's myself and Wimpy and Willie and another guy that's got a elk podcast. Ryan Carter. So so we walked down the ridge to this spot that it's 1,000 yards. And my guides from Arizona, they had no clue about shooting 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
they had no idea about that. But I knew what this bull was, and I knew what my gun could do. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as I saw the bull with the glasses, I just laid down and got ready and just started zooming in. And after it was probably 2 minutes after I saw the bull that I had the first bullet in his kill zone.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, it was funny because Jimmy was on his backpack getting zero dialed in, and the outfitter was up there talking to me about the afternoon plan and how the bull had come back down, and he'd get a shot. And I said, well, you better turn your camera on because that's getting ready to fly.
Everyone's like, what the hell?
What the hell are they doing?
Absolutely. And so to wrap it up the story, shot the bull went down. By the time I walked, I had to hike around a rim and down another rim and then down and over. It probably took me 3 hours to get to the bull. And 2 hours to get to the bull, Mark, maybe? 2 hours to get to the bull. But the bull, if you came from town, you could park in a park and you could come down one hill and be at the bull. Well, by the time I got, and the guys we were with, they ran over those 6-foot breaks. You know, I'm 58 years old and 275 pounds. I'm not hurdling over all that deadfall shit. So by the time I get to the bull, there's like 40 people at the bull. I don't even know who these people are. I don't even know who they are.
Somehow they heard that you killed it or something.
But the perception was that I showed up, killed the bull at 1,000 yards, and that I'm not a hunter. Now that look, it had 500,000 views and 1,200 envy, jealousy comments, right?
Yeah, of course.
First of all, I'm way over it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a Republican, conservative, self-made billionaire. I'm over that shit.
No shit.
And so anyway, but the fun that I had, first of all, to start at the White Mountain in 1998 and to have a governor tag 3 years in a row and 2 years not shoot, two years were the Boulder unit in Utah, and then this was Arizona governor. But not a soul clue about me not passing and not shooting a bull, right? And so here, this is just, it all came together, right? Mm-hmm. So it is, and with hunting, a lot of shit has to come together, man. Yeah. I mean, you got to have a lot of shit has to come together. Yeah. So the story is that you asked me, you said, Jimmy, what's the deal? Well, I worked my ass off to get what I wanted and to do what I wanted to do, but I didn't do what I didn't make all the money because I wanted to make the money. I did it because I wanted to help the people that bought my franchise be successful. Mm-hmm. Right. And I love watching people and helping people win. Yeah. And the next thing I knew, I was a billionaire a couple years before I even knew it.
Oh, really?
I didn't even know it, man. No, I was too busy working my ass off helping people be successful. And so anyway, what I'm here to tell you is the fun of shooting a 478 bull or a 370 bull. It is the score. It's always wonderful to it feels good to shoot a score, right? I mean, it feels good, but when the hunt is a great hunt, it's a great hunt. Mm-hmm. And that hunt for us took 3 years. 3 years of planning and trying. And our target bull, there was an old man, the bull is, that Arizona bull, tag is a 365-day tag. And there was an old guy who was 70 years old hunting with a bow. He was hunting the same bull we were hunting, which is about a 425 6x6. Mm-hmm. And it was the end of July, and he called my outfitter, Chad, from A3 and said, Chad, I'm just going to sit on a water hole. I'm tired. I'm going to shoot the first bull that walks in. The next day, the guy sits in the tag. The first bull that walks in is the target bull. So my guys called me and like, Jimmy, we're so sorry. Your bull is dead. I'm like, sorry. This guy's worked for 360 days for that bull. And I said, here's a letter to him. You go give him that letter and high five to that guy and send him my love and, let's go.
That's awesome.
And all that good karma, 5 days later, my guys see this bull on the internet, and 5 days later, we kill that bull, and that all happened, So
that's awesome.
That was a shit ton of luck and a lot of talent, but it's, being able to buy the tags, for sure, it's a privilege, for sure. Yeah. And what the fuck else are you doing it for? Right. And, you're going to go buy a shittier house.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, I think people just are miserable in their own existence, and I think shit spouts out, and they don't think about really what they're saying. Like, there's no context when they say it.
Well, they just see a picture. They don't see all the work you put into it. Sure. Like the 3 years.
But it's like, dude, if anybody could do that, they'd fucking do it for sure. Like,
don't say you wouldn't.
It's like, okay, you want me to keep working at John Deere and sucking ass in my, like, every morning being like, fuck, I gotta go back to this place. Like, first opportunity I get, I'm fucking going. Absolutely, So I just thought it'd be fun to, like, bring that up.
For
obviously,
sure.
because it's a there's a scale to it all. Like where you're at in your own life, everybody listening, and then where you want to be. And if you could be further along where you wanted to be and you had an opportunity, you're not going to fucking do it?
Yeah, well,
100%.
Of course you would.
No, absolutely. I mean, and you know what? And the complainers are the takers, right? We got the makers and the takers,
Yeah.
right? We got the blues and the reds, right?
Yeah.
And so I'd much rather be the dog than the tick, baby.
That's right.
Right.
I like that.
So you've hunted a lot.
Yeah.
What's one of, like, the elk obviously is a very memorable hunt.
Yeah.
Like, what's some of the hunts that stand out to you that you're like, fuck, that was awesome? Or ones you talk about a lot?
You know what? I'll tell you what. Just a couple of standouts for me. I hunted in the Yukon, and I bought a Yukon on an Indian reservation. I forget what's the name of that Indian reservation. Do you remember, Mark? I don't know, but they auction it off every year, and they do one tag. And I climbed a mountain called Arch Peak, and this was about 5 years ago. And we started the climb at 7 a.m, and I think I harvested the sheep at 12:30 a.m. So it was a 17.5-hour climb.
Oof.
And I mean, that for me, that may be amazing doll sheep. He was 13 and a half years old.
Wow.
For a thin horn ram, he was just that was a real memorable one for me. Let me think about what is memorable. What is memorable that I can just share with you?
One thing I did, if I can interject for a second.
Yeah.
The elephant.
Yeah.
Because Eric shot a giraffe 2 years ago. We went to Africa for the first time. We got the mount here.
Yeah.
And I really thought, like, we were over there. We had Wi-Fi back at the camp, and we were gonna post the giraffe. I'm like, hey, let's wait till we get back so somebody doesn't burn your
my
house down.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, we're gonna be on CNN with clip-on ties and
Yeah,
just
good
like
little suits.
Yeah. And we never had our glorious hate moment like I thought. That was really just gonna propel our popularity.
We really didn't have any hate at all.
Just breezed
to be honest
over.
with you.
No one gave a fuck. But we also don't own at the time, a giant sandwich franchise. It's like, this guy's killing elephant meat on these sandwiches. What's this guy doing? Like, it's like, I bet you people just freaked. But did that whole boycott bullshit, did it work, or did it just make you bigger?
I don't really know, because I was canceled. I think I was the first guy to ever get canceled.
I think so.
And I was a Romney supporter, right? And so they attack you any way they can attack you. So what we did is I did all kinds of forensic research, because I have that capacity to do it. And so I'm not as dumb as I sound. So we did all the forensic on all of where and it all came from the Democratic Party. All of the hate. It was completely 100%
Fabricated hate.
Funded, fabricated, because I was giving money to Mitt Romney, and I was a outspoken Republican supporter, did it affect us? You know what it did? I had 3,000 franchise stores open, and you've got mom and pops that buy the franchise from you, and they look up to you, and they're looking for help, and they want support, and they want to be loved by their town, and they want adoration, and they don't want people coming in and giving them shit at their restaurant. And so where the hurt for the most for my heart was for my franchisees that were the recipients of, God, your boss shot an elephant. Well, I actually shot 9, and again, the meat is cut into strips and dried, and they eat machaca the entire dry season that feeds the village. People just have no fucking idea.
It's too inconvenient to think about that side of it.
Well, no, I don't. You know what? I really don't think that it's inconvenient. I think it's hard for people to understand when people are keyboard warriors and they sit behind these keyboards and their whole world comes from this bullshit. Tucker Carlson opened a Kid Rock show last week, and he walked through the crowd and went up on stage, and Tucker's like, you know what I just realized? He said, I just had a lady come up to me, and he said, no, I forgot if he said a woman or a chick. I don't really care. He said, I just had a chick come up to me with pink hair and 2 rings in her nose, and she had a big Trump bracelet on, and she said, I love you, Tucker. And he said, I love you too. Yeah. He said, you know what this made me realize? That the shit that we're hearing on this shit is not what's going on in the real world right now.
Yeah,
and I think that this is an algorithmic poison that is serving some very, very, very rich oligarchs right now in America, right? And I think that it's awful because this isn't what's going on. You know, it's not what's going on in the world. So it was. I didn't like that. Of course, I didn't like when people don't like you. It's and it sucks, but. My elk video, it had 500,000 views and 1,200 comments. I'm sure a lot of people love the video. So I think there are very, very few people, because really they just reflect how shitty they feel about themselves. So when somebody dumps their shit on you, they're saying, man, I feel really shitty, and I want you to feel as shitty as me, then I won't feel so shitty.
Right.
That hurts me.
Take a walk, cut the sugar, take a walk at the gym, eat a salad, and have a good sleep, and take a good shower, get a haircut, and and shit, life is fucking good. You can turn it around pretty quick if you're willing to do the work.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but the elephants it's an amazing hunt. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary, but I've done 74 mountain sheep hunts, sheep or ibex. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
And I'm a big dude. And so I've done a lot of that, and I've done all the Africa stuff. And I think right now, my favorite thing to do is shoot a whitetail.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I like whitetail hunting. That's my thing. I want to shoot a 178 point whitetail.
8-point.
Oh my God. I want to shoot a 165 8-point, you know. But I will someday, somehow, somewhere, I will do that. But man, there's nothing like whitetail hunting. There's just, it's tough. It's hard, and you got to get lucky, and you get one chance at those bigs. And when they smell you one time, Mark, isn't that true? They're out of there, right? You get one chance.
Yeah. You got to, pressure as least as you can.
Right.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I love hearing you say that, man, because we are starting to get more experience hunting other species, but then it's like when we get home, I'm like, I feel like every time I go hunt something else, I love my whitetails more when I get home. And I don't know what the exact reason. We've speculated, had conversations about it, but
sure,
it's just like, I think your skills get better the more things you hunt, and then you get more dialed in on whitetails and the love of the game and the effort you put in. I love whitetails more every year.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than coming home from a trip and then going to your own tree stand and just sitting there like, you just appreciate it more. I think.
Next thing you know, it's the rut.
And then you never know what's going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen. Never.
Oh yeah,
you're making Play-Doh snakes just thinking about it.
And especially your favorite tree stand, the spot, the spot that you don't want anybody else to sit.
Oh
in,
you got some to the gar hole. You get the good spot.
Oh my God, there's nothing like it. Oh shit! And then when you see that buck, and then how about when you see him, and then he's too far, and he's right there. Oh shit! He's just oh my God! And the best thing is, like Mark and I went turkey hunting this morning, and the best thing about not getting a turkey is we get to go turkey hunting again tomorrow morning.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. So, but anyway, I don't know where I'm going with it.
I love hearing that though. Like whitetails is where it's at for you because, if had the resources to go on how many sheep hunts?
I've been on 74.
See, I do the same shit. So
but I'm old. You gotta remember, I'm 60. You're 25.
Yeah, well, thank you, but I know what you're saying. It's like I have this list, and I know we all have our list of like experience we want to have, and animals we want to hunt, and like the cultures we want to experience, like while going on that hunt. But damn it, fucking whitetails are cool, man. They're the best.
You always come back to November, no matter where you go. You always come back.
They have totally. So this year I was with Mark a couple weeks ago, and he brings me this shed, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Why didn't you show me this? Why didn't you show me this deer last year?" He's because if I showed you the deer, I wouldn't be giving you the shed right now.
That's a good point.
Wanted to give him another year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you got to hide pictures from him so they make it another year.
He's a full sandbagger. This guy's a full sandbagger.
That's all right.
He's a full sandbagger.
That's how you get that 165 8 point, right?
Yep.
That is true.
Exactly. Yep. Try to get them 6, 7 years old.
Yep.
I love it. What's one thing when you're like managing a farm? What's like the number one thing you try to have on that farm, like to ensure like success on a big whitetail? Like if there was like maybe 3 things, what's like one thing you try to do or try not to do?
Yeah, I mean, we just try to pressure it as least as we can. So we try to give them as big a sanctuary as we can. Put our food on the outside edges. Put screening in. Pay attention to how we're getting in and out of the stands. You know,
Pressure, access.
Access. Yep. In and out. Try to get in and out without being ever seen, heard, or smelled.
Yeah.
You know, the less they know, you know, growing up as younger bucks, as a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, hopefully by the time they're 6 or 7 years old, they're stepping out in the daylight. As opposed
Comfortable.
to 2 hours after dark. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find on the farms you manage? Because I always hear big buck guys will come in here and they'll be like, "Yeah, big buck." They kind of get like an old dog, where they'll kind of like lay on the porch, get up, get food, eat, drink, and their home range shrinks the older they get. Do you see that too?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think they do a lot less running. You know, once they get about 6 years old, I think they're running.
Which
Unless
makes
they do
like
more
perfect
weight.
sense, right? Because if you're an old man, big buck, you wouldn't really want to
Get up
do
and
more
run,
than you had.
run around the county.
Well, right, and then with the right management, they probably or should have everything they need right there, so they're not fucking around too much.
I mean, look at us 10, 15 years ago. We were running around all sorts of hell, doing crazy shit. Now we're just kind of like, yeah, I just want to sit at home and do
you
nothing.
find me in 3 places.
Right.
Here, the barn, at home.
Right.
You know, so it's like, oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, I was just curious too. I figured that'd be the case. Like, access is the thing that always comes up, and I feel like that's something you learn with time. Is like you fuck up on a deer and fuck up on them, and then maybe get, like you said, 1 or 2 chances, and you do that for so many years in a row. You pretty much learn as best you can not to do it again on the
Don't
next
do that
buck you're
again.
Yeah,
hunting.
don't do that again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for sure. Well, I got to tell you, before Mark, how long have you and I been hunting together?
Since 15,
Since
2015.
2000, so 9 years. So I started first getting into hunting whitetail deer, buying property, I think like 06, 07. But I never shot deer. I mean, we would go straight into the woods and straight to the spot. And when he went out, we never go in the woods. Like we never go in the woods ever. I mean, we just don't go in the woods. We hunt nothing but the edges.
Yeah.
And Mark is right. I mean, it's in some of our farms, the deer have no idea that they're being hunted, and that is the key to it, you know. And that just takes so many thousands of deer for one to pop into the magical 200 mark, right?
Right.
So Mark really brought all that, and the miscanthus and the blocking and the wind, and I remember my cousin Johnny from New Orleans coming up to hunt here, and we had a food plot. We had a stand on one side and a stand on the other, and we dropped him off and said, sit over here. And he's like, well, the buck comes out over here. We said, that's your stand, sit in the stand there, because that's the way the wind's blowing. So we left. He went over where he wasn't supposed to go. He says, man, I opened my window to shoot that buck, and he winded me, and he ran back. I said, well, Johnny, that's what we told you.
Yeah.
So we call him Cousin Johnny. So we grounded Johnny for a year. We didn't let him come back. But Johnny got to come back last year. So
Shout out to Johnny.
yeah, shout out to Cousin Johnny. So that was some funny shit.
Put him in timeout for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the entire program. Listen, it's Mark Wimpy's program. He is. Listen, I have a hard time judging a deer. I'm never going to go ever hunt without Mark ever again, because I get so excited.
Yeah.
If I see
It's a good problem.
Yeah, I mean, he loves it that I get so excited about it, but I see a 150 and I'm like, oh man, there
Mark's
he
like,
is.
hey, you got to settle down, man.
That's why he's still at the shed, right?
That's why that's sitting on my bar right now in my farmhouse. It's sitting there right now. I looked at it this morning, and but it's it's so exciting. It's whitetails. There is nothing like whitetail deer, and I'm just new into turkey hunting. I'm just new into it. My buddies in Nashville got me into turkey hunting, and then my Link boys got me into it, and then Mark's got me into it. So I'm new. I'm only 3-4 years into turkey hunting.
Mark, you need to implement like a big buck bonus program to where you just tell him that'll keep his excitement down. You hold off And well, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll make it worse. That way, you just shoot a smaller deer, so they don't give you a big buck bonus. But implement some sort of scaling program for Jimmy to be like, all right,
A trophy fee.
yeah, there's a trophy fee on his own
Trophy
farm.
fee on his own farm.
Yeah, trophy fee is the best way to explain that. Yeah.
There you go.
What was the first farm you bought? Was the first whitetail farm you bought in Illinois?
Yeah, the first farm. Yeah, it was a farm in Mahomet, Illinois, just north of town, and it was when I got my first chunk of real money. It was in 2007-ish. I bought a little farm just north of Mahomet, Illinois, and I tried to be smart, like. I wanted the farm to be productive, but I also wanted maybe the opportunity to develop it. So I was trying to typical entrepreneur, right? I wanted to be able to, I wanted to do it all. And I tried to have my farms try to do it all. And then that it got a little bit out of hand.
Yeah.
And so I think we've got quite a farm program going in Illinois. So, but yeah, one in Mahomet, Illinois. It was about 330 acres and it was a family farm. We've got a couple of booners off of it, and it's 2 miles north of downtown Mahomet. We shot probably 2 booners off that farm in 15. Was that since we've owned it? 3? 2?
Yeah, I think 3.
Three booners off of there. Yeah. And so that was the first farm that we bought. And and then the fun part also, because there's so many different hunts going on within the hunt, right?
Yeah.
So the hunt is getting in shape so that you can go where you need to go, and then being able to shoot your bow, right? There's another hunt, or getting a new piece of your bow, and that's a hunt, and or having 2 pieces of land, and then the hunt finally being able, like you were talking on the way here, of connecting those dots so that you can have the piece and. There's so many hunts within the hunt, that are going on that it's not just, the arrow and the buck. There's just so much to it, and it's such a fun puzzle to put together, and you can just keep getting better and better and better and better at it. And then once in a while you get lucky, and then once in a while your neighbors get lucky, and then you get lucky, and they get lucky, and we get lucky, and oh God! And so just the fun of the art of the fun of the chase, the chasse. The French say chasse. I don't speak French, but I think that chasse just sounds sexy. The chasse, the chase,
Yeah.
And but yeah, man, whitetail deer, and going with a guy like Wimpy is just it just knocks me out, man. It just knocks me out. I lease farming. I lease ground in Kansas. I sold a farm that I owned there last year, and then I lease up in Iowa. And I think Iowa is the most beautiful. Kansas is great; it produces, but goddamn, that wind and that hot, that dry. It's kind of high desert,
Yeah.
And it's just dirty. You're always dirty and shit in Kansas. But God, they got big deer there.
Yeah.
So I love that shit.
Yeah, Waddy and all them guys are always in Kansas. We did an episode last week where we were talking about Kansas got brought up a lot. I've never hunted Kansas. Well, I've hunted killed a turkey in Kansas.
Okay.
But I've never hunted whitetails in Kansas. But does he still have his farm out there? Do you know? He actually bought a farm, I think. Him and Bone and
I think he sold it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did sell it.
Yeah, but
he still hunts out there quite a bit.
Yeah. Kansas is just up there in the whitetail world. Like we were talking through like our top whitetail bullet points. Like what's some things in whitetails you want? Like our buddy Austin's got a double drop tine, double throat patch. Just a beautiful buck. It's like, what are the chances? Like, that's a beautiful deer.
Oh, wow.
Or you get a buck, like you want your 188?
No.
78?
Oh, my God. A 178 point? Would that be amazing?
It's unreal is what it is.
Oh, my God. I've got a 156.8 that's beautiful.
It's a big 8.
I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was just talking whitetail bullet points, but that's, the 8-pointer. Like, a lot of guys want that, just example, 150 or bigger 8-pointer.
Right.
It's a big fucking 8-pointer,
Yeah.
Whatever it would be, like you want a drop tine, you want a split, you want double split twos, like a muley. Like, what do you, like, what's something you want in a whitetail that you don't have yet? Besides the 8.
I want a 190 10-pointer, or maybe he can be 12 if they're split G1s, but like a big square beautiful,
Just typical.
heavy, typical, like just a beautiful, handsome deer. I shot my first 200-inch deer was a 202, and I shot him down Medicine Lodge in Kansas maybe 20 years ago. And when I walked up to the deer, his nose was only about this long. I swear the deer had probably 20 some points on him, and he was like 2.5 years old.
No kidding.
And I was devastated because I would never ever shoot a 2.5, or maybe he was 3.5. He was no more than 3.5, right, Mark? That deer, no more than 3.5.
Just a
years old.
freakazoid.
Just a freak, and so
Had the genetics.
yeah, he had the genetics. So I want him to have age, man.
Yeah.
I want him to have age, and in our camp. I put my finger on the scale a little bit, I guess, but we don't care who shoots the big bucks. But what we do is we hang them all in my camp. And then every year, if a bigger buck gets shot, we bump the bucks and we hang the bigger buck. And then we have a buck board. And then we present your buck at the next hunting season. You get your buck. And if you want a replica of it, you can have a replica of it. But you don't get the original until it gets
that's
bumped.
fun.
So
I like
That's
that.
awesome, yeah.
It is fun. So everybody comes to the deer camp and they get to see their deer, and it's fun because it's not Jimmy John.
Yeah. That's cool though.
That is cool.
What, are you a big taxidermy guy in general?
First of all, I've given away the majority of all my taxidermy to museums and different places that mostly museums and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think our buddy Cole Thompson has some in his bow shop down in Champaign.
Some of my taxidermy?
Yeah.
Okay, he might. But like all my high fence stuff, and then high fence is pure entertainment. Again, it's pure entertainment. You are buying a piece of livestock. It is beautiful. It's like a piece of art.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. But I have no emotion with my high fence stuff, right?
That's fucking cool as fuck for you to word it that way, honestly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because that's the
That was
most
well worded.
the most open approach to it, and I think high fence would have a different perspective if everyone just was bold about it like that.
It is what it is. So I took all of my high fence stuff and I gave it to a friend of mine's got a hunting club down in Okeechobee, Florida, and I sent 2 semi-loads of taxidermy down there, and it decorated this big giant lodge, and it's all high fence stuff. So all that stuff I've given away, and then like full mount lions and rhinos and different stuff, I've given it away where it's in museums where people can see it.
That's cool.
because it takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
and so.
The full mount rhino.
Yeah, I mean,
elephant too.
Yeah. Story about the full mount rhino. I had it at my house in Champaign, Illinois. My office was like 2 miles from my house.
Yeah.
So we put it. We had to transport it, and we put it on a flatbed trailer with 4 dudes holding it, and we towed the thing through town to my office to unload this son of a bitch. That was man. That was oh my god.
Like I say, you hollowing it out like on Ace Ventura when he's in that rhino spying out of it.
Oh shit, we did do that, but anyway, I've donated that guy out now. So I've kept the majority of my sheep. I've kept my tough mule deer, and it's the same exact fun that you're having, we're having. It's no more fun around my campfire than your campfire. It's no more. It doesn't feel any better retrieving my buck as it feels retrieving your buck. It's a beautiful gift that we get to do together. And I mean, is there anything better than a campfire and a buzz and your buddies and there's 8 hunters and 2 hanging on the buck pole and 6 guys still get to hunt. And
yeah,
I mean, it's I think that the misnomer or a perception of what it would be like to be able to have more choices. Hey, Tom Brady, does it suck that every single chick on the planet wants to be your next wife? How does that suck, Tom?
It's terrible.
It's fucking horrible, right, Tom? It's the worst.
Too many choices.
Mix it up a little.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm gonna purposely shoot a smaller deer. But it's no disrespect, no ladies, no disrespect.
They're
at
not
all.
listening to this podcast.
Okay,
Jim.
good. But you know, it's the same damn fun, and it's no different. And I only share that because there is such a perception that having a lot of dough and creating as many jobs and paying as much taxes I paid and I got my half, right? I'm playing the game with my half. America's got the other half. All I have is my half. Like, I want to have some fun with my fucking half.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have good fun. And I just and so anyway, is it any more fun? No. Do I have more options? For sure, for sure. And that's exactly as that's the way the game goes. You know, not every wildebeest gets across the river, right?
Sure.
You know,
for sure.
and so but you had asked me that at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, no, I love it. It all came back.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. It all came back. And then also talking about the high fence thing, it's pure high class entertainment. Okay? You go out, they breeding these beautiful animals, you shoot one, the meat's typically great shit, they're feeding it, you know, big fat grain and sugar and molasses and all that. You know, I mean, the meat is as marbled as anything else.
Yeah, hand-fed Big Tine right out of the bag.
Hand-fed Big Tine right out of the bag. Big Tine is great stuff, by the way.
It's good. They'll be here Thursday.
Big Tine will be?
Yep. They're partners of ours.
Oh my gosh, we use Big Tine up in Kansas and we use Big Tine in Iowa, and that stuff really works well. I mean, this guy right here turned me on to Big Tine, or actually it was Sean that turned us on to Big Tine.
In Kansas.
But
they're an Indiana company.
They're Indiana company, but just for anybody that in states where you can feed, you can't feed in Illinois, right? It's all crops and shit. But this Big Tine stuff, these guys can make mature bucks daylight with Big Tine, we've done it. And I shot a 215 in Kansas with my bow, using Big Tine, and it daylighted.
No kidding.
And yeah, how long were you feeding that deer? That deer we called Trump.
Yeah, all summer. All summer.
But you weren't feeding it Big Tine. You just put
Oh yeah, no.
like a week.
Yeah, maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks of Big Tine, and it came in at 4:00. And
That's awesome.
They have food plot blends now, so that's all I get to play with in Illinois. I get screwed out of all the fun, you know. It's like, these are Iowa boys. I'm like, you lucky fuckers, you know.
They'll sprinkle a little something.
yeah,
Give him a little snack.
Yeah,
Well, I can't believe it didn't pass. There was we were all there, and
it
I
was
can't
up
believe.
like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
And Governor Ronner didn't do it, and I can't believe it. He's a Republican, and I can't believe that he didn't sign that bill. But anyway, it is what it is. You know?
Whatever.
And whatever. Yeah, I mean, we work around it, and we're doing fine. But I love that Big Time product. It's great stuff.
Cool. I'm glad you're familiar with it and use it. That's awesome. That makes us look really fucking good. You're welcome, Joe. Joe Humphreys and Daryl Cherry will be in Thursday, and they're just the best. They're going to come out to a couple of farms I can hunt on. We're going to talk about everything new they got going on. So they're awesome people.
Great
on the
dudes.
company.
Yeah,
they're
great people.
the shit.
Right
if you
on.
don't know them, I'll introduce you guys. They're the best. So,
We buy a semi-load for Kansas every year.
do you know Joe Humphreys then?
No, I don't.
Well, I'll make sure you know him, because you need to know him.
Awesome.
He's the man. If you're going to get a semi-load,
Yeah.
you need to know Joe personally. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 2.
Yeah, I'll get you a numbers exchange after this. That way you can call the guy. You know, then it just make your life easier, I bet.
Yeah,
So
awesome. Thanks.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Big Time. Can't feed, but I can plant some food plots. Big Time food plots. But,
I would love to if there's some stuff that we can plant that they like better than our corn and soybeans, and I want to know what it is.
Well, we'll do all the connection stuff. We'll make it happen. Yeah,
Right on.
They'll have something for you, I'm sure.
Right on, right
So,
on.
no, they're the best. I was head somewhere I was going to go. We were talking to the high fence thing, which I love your attitude on.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's that eliminates like most people who do it are weird about it. Like they don't want to
They don't like
say
to,
it.
They don't want to say high fence.
Yeah.
But it's like the way you're just like, fuck, it's like livestock.
It is. Well, that's what it is. It's livestock, and you pay for score, and and that's what it is, and that's great.
Yeah.
But you talk about a big term. Shit, before I could shoot big deer, I'd go to a high fence, and and I'd shoot a bunch of them, and so. But they don't. For me, there's no emotion in it, and I love the emotion in it. It doesn't matter the size, but it really, for me, it's just an emotional thing, and so I like this. So the stuff that I'm going to keep and the stuff I'm going to put in Nashville is just really is just stuff that really hits home.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You're so into hunting. You got into hunting.
Yeah.
you weren't into hunting, where the fuck would you spend your money?
Oh my goodness gracious! Well, it's not. It's like, it's what do I do with my time? Really, it's for me. It's a game of time, and
Yeah.
so what I like. So I'm a fisherman. I love to fish, and I saltwater fish.
By the way, I
And-
asked that question that harsh for comedic relief. I wasn't trying to be an ass.
no problem at all. But I love to fish. So I love to fish, and I love riding snowmobiles. I love riding ATVs. I love riding dirt bikes, and I love adrenaline. I race Ferraris, and I race all over the world. I love doing that. I do about 7 events a year, and I love doing that. And I love getting better and improving, and so that's a lot of fun. And I love my kids. I got 3 kids, they're 30 and 26 and 25. And, you think raising young kids is tough, but having adult kids is a whole nother game. So that's just been a joy in my life. I love my family a lot. I love my neighborhood. I love my country. So I've been asked by Dr. Ben Carson to help in the event we get a victory, to help. I'm not going to say about what I was asked to be on because it's I'm not sure it's public yet about what my position would be. And but I'm so grateful that I get to live in America, and I get to be in this country that my dad fought the Korean War, and my mother emigrated to Ellis Island, and they met here, and my dad started a business, and he funded me to start a business, and here you've got your own business, and you're here with your friends, and we're here talking about what we love, and we are here able to do this because of the half of us that pay for the other half that doesn't, right? Mm-hmm. And you know what? I just I am committed to this country, and I'm not virtuous and I'm not righteous, but I want my children to have the same opportunity that I had. That if they want to get into hunting and they want to work really hard and they want to put the whole package together and figure it all out and maybe get a little bit of luck happen, I would love them to have the journey that I've had or the journey that you've had. And Mark retired from Caterpillar. He's a big buck hunter his whole life. He retired from Caterpillar, and I was lucky enough to get Mark. And Mark is now he's going to have his Grand Slam of sheep, I think, this year. We got him a tag on a management hunt at the Taos Pueblo for his Rocky.
Awesome.
We've been to Russia hunting brown bears together.
Awesome.
We're going bow hunting for Cape Buffalo in October. I'm taking my whole farm crew. I'm taking all of them.
No kidding.
Taking them bow hunting for Cape Buffalo in October.
Badass.
So, I mean, the joy that I get, it's what a country.
Yeah.
What a country. And it's no fun eating chocolate cake alone. Hey, come on, let's look at all my shit. Well, fuck you.
Yeah.
Let's look at all of our shit.
Yeah. That's
we
cool.
did this together.
That's cool.
And think about Hollywood. Hollywood has a fucking celebration for themselves every week. They're pulling up in limousines. Oh, I'm wearing diamonds by Bob, and my dress and my shit and my bullshit and my hair, and I'm so pretty, and you're so pretty, and you're so pretty, and we're so pretty, and then I'll see you next week, and we'll celebrate ourselves one more time. Could you imagine if us business guys had a fucking, every week we fucking had a big party, say, check me out, look at my model girlfriend, check out my jet, it's unbelievable, look at, could you imagine this shit?
Yeah.
And then they dump on our ass. Right? Could you imagine? It's just the I think they confuse their fame with their relevance. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so there's some good ones. There's some really damn good ones.
Yeah.
And there are some great ones. But I don't know why I'm going off on it. But what would I be doing? I think I would just, if I wasn't hunting, I would probably be volunteering and working for the country somehow, some way. Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm going to be spending my time. I'm going to do as much as I can do to help. I want people to, what happens when people go to work and feel good about themselves and they take pride in what they have, and they take pride in their where they live, and they take pride in their family, and they work together, and then when they love themselves and they take pride in themselves, they love their street, and then when they love their street, they love their community. Mm-hmm. When they love their community, they love their fire chief and their policeman, and they honor the flag, and they put their hand on their chest, and they pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and it is for that that is what is I think the most important thing right now. Besides, what do I want to do for self pleasure? My pleasure meter is I'm as happy and as comfortable as I've ever been in my life, and I don't want shit. All I want is I want the country. I want people to feel good about themselves again. I want kids to not be able to be on Instagram, because I think little girls don't. It's not good for them to be seeing what they think. I love what they did in Florida. 16 years old for that.
Yep, they just
But-
passed
I
that.
didn't even know
great
that.
move,
I didn't know that.
16 years old, to be on the internet. So I don't know where I'm going with being righteous, but what would I be doing with my time if I wasn't hunting, giving back to the country and helping the country and helping people
I love
win?
it, man.
And I think that's what I do. And God willing, Trump gets elected and we can clean up some bunch of this garbage. I don't like different rules. I like when we all play by the same rules.
Yeah.
Okay. The rules are one set of rules, not two set of rules. Just because he's your kid. I'm not going to go there. But, this whole
get into it.
Yeah, it's just so. But I don't know what else I would do. I think I'm doing it.
I just know this. We haven't known you for very long, but since we picked you up, you've had a very vibrant energy to you the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And
Thank
it's
you.
what I've been told you were like, and you did not disappoint. And it's been just an absolute pleasure, man. It's you can feel your energy.
Yeah.
You have like a good positive radiance. You really do.
I've been happy the whole time I sat next to you.
And Doug
smiling the
talked
whole
at
time.
least the entire episode.
I was too happy.
Well, thanks, Michael and Nick and all you guys for introducing me. And he asked me to do this, and I said absolutely. And I'm so glad you could do it with me today. And I don't know what we talked about, but we certainly talked a little bit about hunting, and that we sure have fun doing it. We all love it, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's all you do is just talk about hunting. That's what we do at WCB, and we've been doing it, and we're 640 something episodes in. We've been doing it for 9 years. So, I consider this a great opportunity. So I
100%.
appreciate you coming to us. We're trying to get away from the Zoom call podcast and trying to really tap into another level of what hunting podcasts are, and that's in person only if we can pull it off. So the fact that you guys came to us in Little New Windsor, Illinois, it really means so much to us. I just want you to know we're very grateful that you guys came here, and we'll never forget it.
Right on. Well, you guys are great guys, and let's share a deer camp together sometime. And
I would love that.
Yeah,
Let's
and
do
I'll have one of your bush lights.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll share some. So I appreciate it, man. We close every podcast out with "Go shoot your bow," just to help motivate people, and that's a good time anyway. So you know what to do. Go shoot your bow. We love you. See you next week. Peace.
Peace.